Yeah.
Hello, everyone. We're finally ready.
Chandi, speak.
Hi everyone. This is 0x Chandy from Cabal.
The Cabal Bros.
Is unmuted. If you can press like one button and like. So
Versatile, if you leave and rejoin, you should be okay. Yeah, I know. No camera yet. We have production quality here, folks. Real money being spent.
Check right here.
Good voice.
Shit, let me do it again. Actually, you need to come over here.
How's everyone doing today? I know it's 10 minutes delayed,
We're unmuted?
but we're ready. All right, we're gonna turn the camera on, and you're about to see something pretty special here, folks. Something that's not been done before, something never seen in crypto. Yeah, I know you're excited. I'm gonna turn it on. I'm just gonna make sure it works. 3, 2, 1. Ooh. Hello? Can you see us? Can you see the hooded man?
Hello.
Hell yeah. Who is that? Indeed. Well, it's time. I believe it is time, my friend.
It is time indeed.
For the AMA of a lifetime is about to happen. Fresh, if you can't see, just leave the Discord and rejoin. But yeah, just make sure everything's okay. We're good. Who is that Super Mario figure? Interesting. Oh, is this a wizard? That's another good question.
Not a wizard, but we are the Cabal.
We are the Cabal, and today we have a special whiteboarding session for you all. I am joined by Chandi,
Cabal Chandy.
Cabal Chandi on Twitter. Make sure you follow him as well. Make sure you follow the Cabal Twitter, because today we're going to go through something pretty important, something special to Initia, something that everybody should definitely get to grips with after the end of this. I have a nice whiteboard set up. All of this writing here is going to be described by the end of this session. But first of all, I obviously love to start these things, Chandi. Dude, it feels weird that I'm speaking to a hood. I'm gonna have to get used to this.
Guys, day to day we actually speak without the hood, face to face.
I know it might seem that we don't.
Yeah, this is my alternative persona.
And it is a pleasure, a genuine pleasure, to welcome Chandi to the stage.
Thank you.
I would love to just hear, before we get started on Cabal, just a maybe 30-second pitch on who you are, what brings you to crypto, and why you're here.
Yeah, thanks for hosting once again. Beautiful place to be doing this out here in Seoul. I started in crypto quite a few years ago. I consider myself a crypto native back in my university days. And I was doing a lot of work in TradFi, working in private equity, working at investment banks. And on the side, I was investing a lot in crypto. I was getting really into DeFi. And DeFi summer came along. That might have been a starting point for a lot of you watching and listening into this today. Long story short, I spent some time with the research team at Blockworks, and after that, spent some time with the investment team at Golden Tree Crypto, where we did a lot of liquid token trading, a lot of DeFi stuff, and just really entrenched myself in what it means to be a good investor in crypto. And that translated quite well into building itself, because I have a bit of an entrepreneurial background. My co-founder and I, we sold a crypto sentiment startup back in the day for, a good chunk of change. And, we both are pretty, we have a pretty deep set of, expertise in DeFi. And so, long story short,
Here we are. So some big names there, some Blockworks, some Golden Tree. So obviously what you're building here must be something quite special for you to leave that in the past.
Basically.
Before we go into kind of more detail, I would love to hear maybe your just elevator pitch, a quick quick elevator pitch on what Cabal is and why users should maybe care about it before we go into detail.
Absolutely. So what makes Initia special is VIP, and we'll dive deeper into this in a moment. Right there, VIP. And VIP is great for aligning every party in the ecosystem, from the L1 itself to the builders, which are the L2s, and the users. But there's something that we could do to supercharge VIP even more, to make it easier for users to participate in all the interwoven rollups, to make it easier for users to participate in governance, and to make it easier for rollups to get more out of Initia's governance and VIP. And so that's where Cabal comes in. We basically are a liquidity sink for the Initia ecosystem. So users, funds, angels, they deposit with us, and we build a large base of governance power. We'll go over this diagram in a second, but people deposit their NIT with us, and we pool together all that governance power to make it available for bribes from rollups. And so that in turn gives us a lot of yield that we pass back straight to the users, and it gives us the highest staking Initia LST. So that's the rundown of Cabal in 30 seconds or less.
Slightly more.
Yeah.
No, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Charlie. Appreciate that. I would also just like to hear maybe a brief background of the other members of your team, because obviously to attract people from these various big backgrounds from before is quite an achievement. So I think it's worth highlighting some of those other members and where they're from.
For sure. So myself and my co-founder, 0x Sigmoid on Twitter. It's pretty privileged, and he has a lot of expertise in blockchain and AI sentiment, all of that machine learning AI stuff. He did his master's in AI, went to Yale, dropped out to pursue Cabal. He's part of the 999 Society, so good all-around guy there, super sharp. And he's the CTO of this project alongside me. And then we have another engineer on hand who attends ETH Zurich. It's the same university Einstein used to go to.
Very nice.
So, he's a great engineer also with us. And then we have good little marketing team here and there. So that's sort of the Cabal team as a whole.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of meeting a few of the team in Cabal, in Seoul as well. So I can attest to their professionalism and the types of people that these guys are. And it's just made me even more excited, to do this workshop and this whiteboarding session with you, but just to truly see what you guys have built. So not only am I going to be hosting this, but I'm also going to be a witness to what Cabal is as well.
And our CTO is actually sitting behind the camera here. And you guys are in for a treat next week. He'll be doing a product showcase as well with someone else on the marketing side with Initia. So today we're going to run through a whiteboarding session, get everyone up to speed with what XNet does and how it benefits users and rollups. And then next week our CTO will do a product showcase, actually using our D app and showing Cabal in action.
That's exciting. Thank you for announcing that. We'll be sure to get those links in the Twitter and Discord as well, so you guys won't miss that out for sure. So let's get into this from a very basic level to begin with, because obviously Cabal is supercharging VIP, right?
Yeah.
So maybe for those of you who perhaps are listening to this after the fact, or those of you that aren't perhaps native to Initia and understanding VIP, maybe just a brief rundown of what VIP is and how it works before we get into Cabal.
Absolutely. So VIP, right up here. Love these little sticks, by the way. So VIP is the vested interest program. That is the cornerstone for Initia. For far too long with other L1s, they've been plagued with biased grant programs or rewards where people just come to the ecosystem, they farm them, and then they'll rotate out once the meta changes. We've seen that time and time again with a lot of L1s in the past. And so VIP fixes these issues by keeping everyone engaged for the long term. As I'm sure you guys are familiar, users participate with different roll-ups. So there's different KPIs that they can hit to increase their VIP score. And then these roll-ups, once they get their VIP rewards, allocate these rewards to their users. And so there's really two ways to participate in governance. Broadly speaking, you have, by using your init, and then the other is enshrined liquidity. That goes into VIP, and VIP, each epoch consists of two pools, which is how rewards are distributed, right? There's the weight pool and right there, the balance pool. I hope I pointed to the right ones. It's a bit hard to see under the hood.
You did.
Okay. So the weight pool and the balance pool. Let's go through both of these. I think that would be pretty helpful.
Yeah.
So each epoch, which is 2 weeks, you have a distribution between the weight pool and the balance pool that equals to 100% of the rewards in that epoch. And the balance pool is pretty straightforward. It's the amount of init that a rollup is holding. So if there's an interwoven rollup right over here, and they have, say, 50% of all the init that they're holding versus all the other rollups, then they will get 50% of the balance pool for that epoch.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty straightforward. It's just based on how much init you're holding. The other part is the weight pool. And that's where Cabal sort of comes in. We'll get to that in a second. But the weight pool is based off activity that a rollup has. So whether you're a DeFi protocol, it's based on how much TVL and how much lending and borrowing is being done on the protocol. Or if you're a gaming protocol like Shadow Tamagotchi, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's based off your social metrics there, or the amount of NFTs you've minted. And so the weight pool is based off activity. So that's an overview of how sort of VIP works. And then let's talk about Cabal and Exinit. So the way we supercharge this is we allow users over here to deposit a NIT, also to deposit enshrined liquidity, but we'll come back to that.
Okay.
So users can deposit their NIT tokens into Cabal, and they'll get Exinit, which is a LST, in return. So Cabal will take that init that users deposit, and it'll make it available for bribes from rollups. So now a rollup can come to Cabal and say that, hey, this new epoch is coming up. Maybe there's a lot of people that use me, or maybe I'm a new rollup and I want to get more eyeballs. I want more people to notice me. They can submit bribes to Cabal. They can deposit tokens. They can deposit USDC. They can deposit a NIT. They can deposit their own native token. They can deposit these as rewards to Cabal. And Cabal, at the end of each epoch, will accumulate all the different bribes from all the different rollups, and it will vote accordingly. Based on our governance power, it will vote accordingly for the rollups.
So those bribes can be in both their native token on the rollup as well, or literally anything that they decide to bribe, right?
Yeah. So on day one of mainnet, we'll launch with a NIT and USDC,
Of course.
and then as TGEs happen for these different rollups, we'll begin to support their native tokens as well.
Okay.
And that's actually a really important point because it's very cheap for rollups to bribe in their own native token.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't cost them anything. It's minted out of their treasury, and so this system is built such that absolutely new rollups, or even rollups that may not have funding, or they're new to the ecosystem, they can still participate with the bribe economy on Initia through Cabal.
Okay.
And so the important point is interwoven rollups will bribe Cabal, and then Cabal will pass these rewards through to users. And so that way, users get a ton of incentives. They get a lot of rewards. Not only do you get the base staking yield because we will stake your NIT. So whatever that may end up being, whether it's 6, 7, 8%, you get that staking yield. And then from all the bribe rewards, you also get an additional bribing yield. And then, over time, you get additional incentives from airdrops and a couple other secret line items that we can discuss later.
For sure. Nice to keep things a secret for later as well. I
Yeah.
agree. I have a question for you then. For the bribes themselves, right? All of the bribes, let's say there are 5 roll-ups and every single one of them bribes, and like their distribution of VIP rewards afterwards are weighted on those bribes, right?
Yeah.
All of those are accruing to Exinit, or just like how does that part work exactly?
So Cabal will optimize the bribes that we get for the highest yield towards our users.
Perfect.
So say you have 3 roll-ups and 3 of them all bribe, say, $10,000. So that's $30,000 total.
Mhm.
So each roll-up bribe 33%. So Cabal, on some basic algorithmic math there, will vote 33% towards each roll-up every that epoch.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. I think it's something important to mention and to really drill home is like the power of this Exinit token and just how many rewards that this does end up being, right? Because these bribes, I think we're going to find, right, especially as VIP develops and more roll-ups come in, there's going to be more competition for the init that Cabal owns and has a hold of.
Yeah.
And therefore, these bribes, you can kind of assume, are just going to continue rising and rising as things develop, right?
And it's really an easy way for users to allocate their governance power. So if you guys have been participating in the initial testnet, you've probably seen that you can go to the VIP tab and choose which roll-up you want to vote for, but maybe you're not sure that the roll-up you vote for is going to be the roll-up that ends up getting the most rewards, right? And so instead, you could delegate your voting power with, Cabal Exinit, and we handle that on the user's behalf.
Yeah. So not only are you getting the maximum amount of bribe rewards, or just bribes in general as well, but you're voting for the most efficient interwoven roll-ups as part of the VIP gauge.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And on utility, that's an important point because on Cabal, you can stake your Exinit, so you'll get S Exinit to receive all these rewards. But Exinit is also a valuable token to, do other things with. It integrates with different DeFi protocols, so you can use it as collateral on a lending market. You could, you could borrow, you could lend against it. There's a couple other integrations that we're keeping on the hush-hush for now.
Okay.
But there is utility behind Exinit as well as staking Exinit.
So you can kind of imagine that as Exinit gets integrated into these other interwoven roll-ups, that you'd also be getting some of their VIP rewards on those ecosystems as well, right?
Yeah, basically.
So we're talking about real supercharged yield on your init, one where it's kind of a set and forget strategy as well in terms of the voting system. So it's not something that you need to continuously take advantage of and be tapped into, like whichever roll-up is hot at that minute, right? And I think there's a lot of value in being able to spend your time and resources elsewhere as well.
Yeah, an important point there is basically that Cabal is the gateway to DeFi on Initia, because as a holder of a NIT, you can stake it yourself, but then you sort of give up that the power of doing anything else with that NIT.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could deposit it with Cabal for an LST, or very lovely Exinit, and you can have your cake and eat it too. You can get your staking rewards plus all the other additional incentives, and then on the other hand, you can take your Exinit and use it in different DeFi protocols for whatever reason you wanted to.
Yeah. So we've heard mostly about kind of why this matters to users, right? Like just the fact that this is supercharged yield that's going to be utilized within the multi-chain Garden of Eden, and all of these obviously various benefits that we've described. But I'd kind of like to go into maybe more so why this is beneficial to rollups and how a rollup can maximize their strategies on Cabal.
Absolutely. So I did want to focus, the first little bit of this whiteboarding session on the users. So hopefully that's clear to everyone now. As far as the rollups go, so imagine you're building something new on Initia, but you're not entirely certain that you would get rewarded for that from day one, from the get-go, right? You maybe have a new user base. Maybe you don't have a lot of funding to put towards the balance pool because you don't have a lot of Initia on hand, whatever it might be. What you can do as a rollup is you can come to Cabal and you can offer bribes using your native token to get more exposure to VIP and earn rewards that way. And then also, if you're a very well-established protocol, obviously you want a bigger share of VIP emissions. That's a large part of your revenue. And so, you can think about it this way, that Cabal will have whatever X amount of, millions and, billions in TVL and governance power. Inshallah, billions, trillions even. And all that governance power is a sitting duck, right? Every epoch, there's $1 trillion of governance power that is just there for the takes. And any rollup can come in and say, hey, they're going to bribe you guys $100 for that $1 trillion worth of governance power. And so obviously other rollups are going to look at this and be like, oh, $100 is super cheap. I'm going to bribe $1,000. I'm going to bribe 10,000, 100,000. So every epoch, there's this almost bidding process where it's cheaper for rollups to bribe for governance power than it might be to gain that themselves through the balance or the weight pool.
I think that brings up an interesting point, actually, that competition for bribes, right? Which could end up meaning, even for the user that has their X in it, just more bribes at the end of it. Because like you said, there is just going to be this massive war chest of in it that is within Cabal and deposited into Cabal, which hopefully will be worth more and more as time goes on. So as we mentioned before, right, like these bribes are only just going to get bigger and bigger as more and more teams are competing for this pool of init to therefore get bribes for themselves.
Yeah, and the pool itself, the Cabal treasury is only going to go bigger and bigger, right? More and more users, more and more funds and angels will be depositing with Cabal, and so that only increases the amount of governance power we have, which only increases the amount of bribes that rollups want to offer. And it's this really positive feedback loop.
So how do you see Cabal's positioning in Initia changing over time? Like obviously on TGE, you're going to have a pool of init, and there's going to be maybe a few rollups that are competing for it, and then obviously as things progress, it's going to get larger, right? So,
well, not quite TGE. That's
you're right.
But we can come back to that towards the end.
Okay.
Cabal token when, but on mainnet, and we will be ready on day one of Initia mainnet. Yeah, you're right. We'll have a bunch of TVL. We'll allow users to deposit more and more, and rollups will be there ready to bribe away and get more VIP emissions.
Cool. And you just see yourselves as this kind of, maybe not liquidity hub, but this voting or this gauge hub for incentives going forwards. How important is that for a roll-up? I mean, obviously you're going to say that it's incredibly important, right? But I think it's important as a user to understand why when these roll-ups come into Initia, one of their first points of contact is going to be you guys, right? It's so important in their strategy.
Yeah, basically. So, we've spent a lot of time just, off that point, chatting with every rollup about their VIP strategy. Because even without Cabal, they have certain KPIs they, want to figure out how to reward their users with. And every rollup independently comes up with like, okay, it makes sense for us to bribe for rewards as well. because the way the VIP works, you have like we talked about, the balance and the weight pools. There's no way around the balance pool. Like you need a net. You need the money to have a net. That's really good for DeFi protocols because people will deposit a net with them. But maybe for like non-DeFi protocols, right? You really do have to focus on the weight aspect of it. And so, a good way, it's competitive to get VIP emissions for rollups. And so a good, easy way to bootstrap that, everyone looks at Cabal.
Yeah. Was there anything else that you wanted to touch on with the rollups, or can we kind of summarize what we've spoken about?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think we basically covered most of the points there.
I think so. For anyone that might have missed it, and for anyone that has joined late, maybe just a very brief summary of why do I, as an init user and an init community member on TGE, on mainnet, why do I care about Cabal?
Because Cabal will give you the highest yielding Initia LST on the market. By depositing into Cabal and getting XNet, not only will you get your base staking yields, but you'll also get what we call a bribing yield from all the roll-ups that are bribing us for our governance power. And you'll also get some, over time, accumulate some other additional incentives. But the main thing is the bribing yield over here, which roll-ups are basically directly paying you as the user for your governance power.
Perfect. I think that's a nice 1 minute tidbit to use for Twitter later on as well.
Yeah, perfect.
I wanted to maybe give just a few minutes for people to ask any questions that they might have, that they maybe have in the chat as well. I'm going to need to read them here. Question. Okay, so one person has asked, how do users participate in the governance? I think it's useful for you to explain how Cabal does it for them, basically.
Yeah, so by depositing into Cabal, we mint a token called XINIT, and we give that back to you. And we will take your init and stake it. And with that governance power, we will auction that off to the largest, the best bribes from rollups. And we will then take those bribes and give them back to you at the end of each epoch. And so, the other way to participate in governance is by just, doing it yourself, taking your init that you have and voting for, a certain rollup. But what that really misses is, really extending the yield that you can get on that governance power. So hence we developed this XINIT system.
Yeah, so it's basically taken care of for you. There's no effort on your side from this, maximizing rewards for you as well.
It's a simple deposit into Cabal, and Cabal takes care of all the yield optimization for you.
Perfect. So something that we didn't speak about too much was this enshrined liquidity component. Do you maybe want to expand on why that is so different from the init itself?
Absolutely. So enshrined liquidity basically allows you to help secure the Initia network by not just, a net pair, not just Initia itself, but also something like USDC a net pair. So these enshrined liquidity pairs are whitelisted by Initia governance themselves. So it's only available to a few different pools. And those LP tokens can be helped used to secure the network. Those LP tokens can also be deposited into a net for the same, bribing ecosystem that we've outlined. So not only can you deposit your init, like we mentioned, but you can also deposit your init LP tokens.
Wow, so you're getting LP rewards and bribes and staking and airdrops and other secret stuff.
Exactly.
Wow. So truly, I mean, there is almost no reason to not give Cabal a try, especially on mainnet, right? Like they're taking care of the governance for you, they're supercharging your yield, they're giving you a reason to participate in this governance process and just VIP as a whole, which I know that is probably a main reason that a lot of you have come to Initia in the first place and have seen this incentive alignment vision. So yeah, thank you for clarifying that. I'm just gonna have a look if there are any. Do deposits have a lock period on Cabal?
Yeah, so there will be a different lock for LP tokens versus init tokens themselves. And so you can deposit your init for XNet, and between XNet and SXNet, there is an unbonding period of 21 days. For your LP tokens, there's an unbonding period of 7 days.
Okay.
But for the init itself, we take that and we max lock it. So we get the full juice out of governance power itself.
Perfect. And that XNet that you deposited is obviously a liquid state. So are we going to get some XNet init pairs as well?
I mean, we'll
discuss later.
Yeah, we'll I say inshallah like I don't already know the answer. But,
yes.
You can take that as a hint.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
Just gonna see if we've got any other questions here. Is there any plans to integrate any other tokens other than Init? Well, answer to that would be a no.
I mean, that is a good question with respect to other LSTs.
Yeah, very
so, of course, good question. Of course, you can, like we said, we take in init and init LP tokens, and we are looking at some LSTs that we can also take as deposits. But really the most straightforward way and the most efficient way to get the most out of your yield is just to directly deposit and get XNet yourself.
Perfect. Thank you for clarifying that. I think we can probably wrap this up. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, unfortunately I can't see the laptop screen what questions are popping up.
Yeah, I mean the questions are that there aren't many questions, which is a good thing for you, which means that you've explained yourself very well. Yeah, I think that truly this is something special, right? Like this is something that VIP was kind of like it was designed to need a product like this, right? And being able to maximize VIP rewards, being able to maximize your init rewards as well is something that is going to be universally wanted by anyone within the Initia ecosystem itself.
Yeah. So, and on that point quickly, sort of I want to share a story about, the time I spoke to Zon about Cabal, and, we were going through VIP, and the immediate reaction was, wow, this could use a system like Convex. If you guys are familiar with what Convex does with Curve, it's a similar sort of bribing system. And it was funny because independently, Zon had that idea, Stan had that idea, investors of Initia had that idea. They were just waiting for someone to build it.
And here you are.
And here we are.
The Cabal wizard.
The Cabal wizard, the hooded figure.
Well, yeah, I think this has been very insightful. I know that a lot of people, I can see a lot of people are enjoying it in the chat as well. To wrap this up, we will have this recorded. We have actually another point of view as well that we're going to turn into some clips for both the Initia account, for the Cabal account as well. So there's going to be a lot of content coming out of this. Did you want to plug that other video that we're going to do as well with Oak Sigmoid?
Yeah, we will. Just stay in touch with the Cabal Twitter and our Discord, and we will keep everyone posted on the product walkthrough that we're going to do next week.
And you guys have some good content coming out as well. I recall from the main Twitter. So
yeah, absolutely. So follow the Twitter at Cabal VIP. Join the Discord at discord.gg/thecabal. Follow myself at Cabal Chanty on Twitter and my co-founder, Zero X Sigmoid. We'll plug everything in the chat.
Yeah, I'll do an announcement after this.
Absolutely.
In the Discord.
And happy to answer any more questions in the Cabal Discord.
Yeah, make sure you join the Cabal Discord. I'm gonna set up the links just after this. I'll put it in an announcement. If you have any questions that I might have missed, I must admit it's quite difficult to read the screen from here. But if you do have any questions, come to the Discord. Cabal is here to help.
Alright.
Any closing statements? Anything you want to say?
I just want to say, I'm finna ride.
We finna bribe.
We finna ride.
We finna bribe.
All right.
Thank you very much, folks. Thank you for joining us today. And yeah, as I said, I will put the links in the Discord.
Sweet.
Take care, everyone. Have a nice day. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, we will see you soon.